You're watching Arkansas Style on KARK.
I have to give this movie a 6.5 out of 10.
Beautiful people and tennis. I
mean, what more do you need?
Sometimes more is not more.
Exactly. It's a very, very good movie.
Quite an endorsement.
Yes.
Welcome back to Arkansas Style. Our favorite film critic, Michael Cook, is back today with more of what's in the cinema world. And today we're diving into two movies that are going straight for the heart. First up is Lee, starring Kate Winslet and a host of other famous faces. This film explores the inspiring true story of the remarkably talented and brave artist Lee Miller as she goes from fashion model to war correspondent. And for our second film, we have the all-new Netflix original, His Three Daughters, which follows sisters Kate, Christina, and Rachel as they come together to care for their ailing father. Michael, you trying to make me cry?
I know, we got two heavy ones today.
I can't take it. All right, well, let's get it out of the way.
All right.
Let's start with Lee.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Why does it matter? They're just pictures.
Do you want the world to know about you?
You think I went to war so people would know my name? I'm heading to the front. Ready to go?
We don't send women to combat.
Well, that's a problem, because I'm here. Even when I wanted to look away. I knew I couldn't.
Okay, that doesn't even sound like her. Crazy. Okay, well,
let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
Kate Winslet plays the iconic Lee Miller, real life story. Lee Miller was a war correspondent during World War II. She started off her career as a fashion model for Vogue and then became a photographer of some renown. Here the movie starts off with, you saw in the trailer, you saw Kate Winslet as an older Lee Miller doing an interview looking back on her life, and she tells a story of how she came to be a war correspondent on some of the front lines. She meets Alexander Skarsgård at the very beginning. They have a meet cute and eventually get married, and they move to London right at the start of World War II. But Kate Winslet's character just wants to be involved in the war effort. She wants to be on the front lines and use her photography skills to get there. And of course, this being 1940s, women are not particularly welcome on the battlefield, but she fights and perseveres and eventually gets sent to the front to take the pictures and see the horrors of World War II. The movie is told, as I said, in a series of flashbacks between the interview where they're older and then looking back on her career as she tries to make it in the world and have her pictures come to light. Kate Winslet, of course, is a fantastic winner Academy Awards. Here I think she does a good job as this character, but I don't think this material serves her well. We don't really get a sense of who Lee Miller was in terms of her place in history and her place in photography. Was she important because she was the first woman, or was she an amazing photographer, or both? There's so many questions that are left unanswered that I wasn't particularly pleased. It kind of felt like a paint-by-numbers biopic with all the great actors, but just didn't quite come together for me. I give this a 7.5 out of 10.
Thoughtful review, Michael. I appreciate this because you've said this about other biopics in the past, when they're historical figures and they don't really set the story properly.
Right.
So you don't really know what you're supposed to be either learning or enjoying or just, falling into. Very thoughtful.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's move on to His Three Daughters.
Rachel, you can't be doing that out here.
Legal now. It's my big sister. She's trying to tell me the smoke is killing our dad.
How is Vinny?
Oh, he's dying, but not because of my weed smoke.
It's very nice that you're all here at a time like this. We all want your father to transition as peaceful as possible.
It's nice that it's us. This is the way it should be, the way he would want it.
The plan is we all will take turns watching over. She hasn't done a shift, right?
Your life is perfect. You got your kid. Probably gonna pop out a bunch more.
No, nothing pops. There's no popping. That's not the way it is.
Okay, whatever. It looks like popping to me. What the fuck are you doing? Stop it! You know, different types of people. But yes, my dad too, over there, dying. It is my dad, okay?
I'm working on his obituary and was hoping that you could help with it.
Married a couple of crazy bitches, raised a few crazy bitches.
Be a friend to me and let the silence ring.
Okay, I'll reserve my comments until after I hear your review, all right?
Well, the story is it's these three actors, Carrie Coon, Elizabeth Olsen, and Natasha Lyonne. They play three sisters who are in their father's cramped New York City apartment because sadly he is dying of cancer and he only has a very short time to live. These sisters are estranged, but they must come together to care for him in his last few days or potentially weeks. You know, the film's not quite clear at the beginning what's going to happen. And it's clear from the beginning that these three sisters have a lot of issues between them, like a lot of families, a lot of things that are unsaid but are just sort of known within the family. The characters are just wonderfully drawn, with each one given their own real sense of who they are. Natasha Lyonne, she's the sister who stayed home with dad, but she smokes too much dope and bets on sports. Elizabeth Olsen is the middle child, the classic conciliatory, wants everybody to get along, and then Carrie Coon is the oldest child, the classic kind of hard-charging, kind of my way or the highway. And these are just three amazing actors, just at the top of their game, and the material they're given is absolutely fantastic. The dialogue is sharp and very engaging, even though it's a specific story about these three sisters in a New York City apartment. Because it is so specific, it does feel universal, where there are things that you can understand with dynamics with your own siblings and families. That is absolutely wonderful. I will say this is a family drama. This is not a feel-good kind of movie. You're dealing with some heavy subjects of family and death and dying, but if you like those kind of movies that really get to the heart of the emotions, this one is for you. I really recommend it. I give it a 9 out of 10.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Really, really enjoyed it.
Okay, who are you out there that likes watching?
Sometimes people want a good cry and see some good emotions.
Life is hard.
They want to see other people fighting, not me. It's like my life is great compared to these folks.
Oh my God. I used to just watch movies with my dad where they would just dance and sing, kiss, and it was a happy ending.
All American, yeah.
I'll take that. All right, well, good to see you,
good to see
as
you.
always, of
Thank
course.
You.
You can find Lee playing in select theaters near you, and His Three Daughters is now streaming on Netflix. Now stay with us. We're chatting with Jennifer Breeze from the Division of Developmental Disability Services right after this about their 8th annual Fall Food and Craft Fair. From handmade crafts to mouth-watering food trucks, we'll give you a sneak peek at everything you can enjoy. Stick around. You're watching Arkansas Style.